Hello and welcome. This is Eric from AD Racing Central. This is the 5th episode of WipeOut Fury on Elite, where I tackled the Fury campaign in WipeOut Omega Collection on Elite, the highest difficulty. In episode 5 out of 8, I tackled the Vortex grid, and things are definitely getting tougher now. Let's get started. The Vortex grid consists of 11 events, including a 4-race tournament. The first event I took on was an elimination event on Talon's Junction, where the goal is to reach a certain score by damaging and destroying your opponents, and I thought that the balanced Kyrix ship would be suitable. How fast you reach the score, and if you do it before everybody else, is of course partly dependent on what weapons you pick up. And things started off with me falling behind quite a bit, but it wasn't until I picked up a Quake that gave me a triple kill that I got pushed to the upper parts of the leaderboard. A Plasma and another effective Quake at the end secured me the win. Next up was a speed lap on Modesto Heights, where I picked AG Systems, as the ship has balanced stats except for shield that aren't important in speed laps or time trials. This track is relatively technical, with lots of chicane series and speed pads placed in positions outside of the racing line. It's also a matter of determining where the perfect spot to activate the turbo is, and let's just say it isn't this one. After a couple of failed attempts, I switched to the much faster Icarus ship and put a lot of effort in using side shifts to benefit from all the speed pads, and this change was enough to secure the gold. Side shifts are proving to be a very important technique to master on higher difficulties. The next event was another eliminator on the Amphitheum, where I picked Triakis, whose ship are more or less made for this type of event. This event flowed much better than the previous eliminator race, and I took the opportunity to practice some useful techniques, like using the rear cam to place mines, for example. After getting points with the Quake, a missile, and then a couple of rockets, the gold medal was no problem.
Gold medal awarded.
The next event, that was a zone battle on Modesto Heights, was however anything but a breeze. All ships in this mode have the same stats, so I picked Goteki 45 to get some loyalty points, but I did miss the gold medal multiple times, so I had to consider my tactic. I kept hitting the barriers my opponents laid out, which dropped my energy back to 0, and to win a zone battle, you need to consume your energy to reach a target score before everybody else. By using my energy early instead, to increase my score and my speed, I managed to get ahead with the other ships and therefore avoided most of the barriers. I kept absorbing my energy in smaller chunks than usual, which allowed me to keep my position, and finally the gold medal was mine. Alongside not one, but 2 new liveries for Goteki 45. For the detonator event on Modesto Heights, I picked Mirage to gather much needed loyalty, because I never use this ship because I think it's too ugly. A detonator event is a kind of fever dream shoot 'em up mode where you aim for a certain score while avoiding getting destroyed by collisions with orbs or walls. A couple of solid beginner tips is to use the EMP just before getting hit to avoid the damage, and also frequently manually reload so you don't run out of ammo at a bad spot. I personally still find these events much less challenging than many others, and the gold medal was no problem. And I got a new livery for Mirage. A single race on the Amphitheum was up next, for which I picked Assegai. A faster ship might have been a better pick, as this track has lots of straights, but at least it's fun to practice rocket sniping. I was in second place for a long time, waiting for a good weapon, and finally got a missile. That, plus a turbo shortly after, was all I needed to secure the gold medal, but it did come down to the wire.
Gold medal awarded.
Next up was another zone battle where I decided to gather some loyalty for Oricom, the second ugliest ship in the game in my opinion. I used the same tactic as before, absorbing energy in short bursts to get ahead fast. It was a bit of a struggle to overtake the last 2 racers, but I finally did it, and also kept my cool to dodge the barriers to finally reach the top score first. For the eliminator on Modesto Heights that was up next, I picked Triakis again. I got off to a good start and decided to do some combat role plasma sniping, and after that I picked up yet another Quake that got me a very comfortable lead. Everything ended with a funny session, including, you guessed it, a Quake and an aerial plasma shot.
Session complete. Gold medal awarded.
3 events left, and next up was a single race on Talon's Junction on Rapier speed class. I picked Harimau, and I actually had to play this event multiple times to get the gold medal. On my winning attempt, I struggled a bit the first 2 laps, but then I picked up a Quake, which seemed to be a recurring theme this entire run. Closing in on the end, the Van Uber team was breathing down my neck, and I decided to let them overtake me since I had just picked up a missile. It proved to be a winning strategy, and I could finally cash in the gold medal.
Gold medal awarded.
Next up was another detonator event on Tech de Raw, and I picked Oricom again. This was a very unremarkable run where I got the gold medal on the first attempt, and it's interesting to see how much of a difficulty difference there is between the different event types. And I finally got a new livery for Oricom. The final event was a 4-race tournament in the slightly slower Flash speed class. Coming first in every race is not entirely necessary as long as you have more points than your opponents in the end, but you can't restart individual races, only the entire tournament. I ran all races with EGX first and got a silver medal, so I changed to the slightly more nimble Harriman ship for my second attempt. In the first race on Tech the Raw, I struggled a bit at the beginning, but then I got a nice session with a rocket, a missile, and a shield in quick succession, and everything was topped off with, you guessed it, a quake. The struggle in the end was intense, but I managed to finish first.
Race complete.
The next race on Modesto Heights went about the same, with me trailing behind a bit, followed by a session with multiple lucky weapon pickups, which led me to another first place.
Race complete.
Approaching the last 2 races, I had a comfortable lead, but nothing was over yet. On the Amphitheum that was up next, I got a nice missile hit relatively early in the race, and after bumping my way all the way to first place, partly thanks to a turbo, there was really no contest. With no rubber banding mechanic in this game, getting to first place early to avoid rockets and mines and so on can be very advantageous.
Race complete.
Finally, on Thanos Junction, I didn't have the same flow with my weapon pickups, and for the most part I traded hits with the other ships in the top half of the starting field. A leech beam slowed me down when we were approaching the finish line, and I never really recovered from it, which led to me finishing in 3rd place. It didn't matter though, as I had the highest accumulated score, and the last gold medal of the Vortex grid was mine. Things are getting tougher for sure, but there are now only 3 grids left in the Fury campaign. Watch how everything goes in the next episode, and to watch the last episode, click on this video. Thank you for watching. I am Eric from AD Racing Central, and I'll see you in the next video.